Hi, Elnura. My name is Ellen, and I will be correcting these essays for you. Let's take a look at what you've written in your first set. Also, just so that you know, it's best to put both essays into one email so as to avoid confusion. So just add both essays as attachments to your email. Okay. All right. Let's see what you did. Enjoyable activity with a child. Every day for child is developing day. They see new objects. For them, it is breakthrough. For these moments, critical to navigate kid to good way. Doing enjoyable activity with a child can develop better skills as a reading. The following essay would be supported both of views. Okay, the first thing that I'm seeing here is that every sentence has some grammatical errors. And that creates a problem because sometimes grammatical errors can create a strain for the examiner. And if you look at the band descriptors for task 2, you'll see what that means in terms of a score, okay, for grammatical range and accuracy. So this is where you want to be careful and where I'd like it to see you really make an effort to be a little more accurate, okay? So let's go through some of this to fix the grammar, and then we'll talk about the other things that need to be worked on here. Okay, so every day for a child is I guess a better word here would be every day for a child is a day where they develop, okay? Or a day when they develop, even better. They see new objects, and for them, it is a breakthrough, okay? Now you can see even Microsoft Word didn't like this sentence. It underlines it for the grammar. For these moments, comma, it is critical to navigate the child correctly. Doing an enjoyable activity with a child can develop better skills than reading. The following essay will support both views. Okay, so we fixed the grammar. Now let's talk about the other issues. I did see some other issues related to coherence and cohesion and task achievement. Let me tell you what I mean. So you're talking about navigating the child correctly, and then all of a sudden you throw in this idea of better skills and reading. I felt like it was a bit of a leap, and maybe there should have been a smoother transition here between these ideas. Okay. And then the next problem is your last sentence. This sentence where you explain your position is called your thesis statement. And what it's supposed to do, or your position statement, some people will call it. Now, you're supposed to answer this question here. To what extent do you agree? Here, you're saying that you're supporting both views. So I'm a little confused. Does that mean you think what does that mean you think? Basically, it means you support, excuse me, both reading and skills. I'm sorry, both reading and an enjoyable activity. It's not clear. And when your position is not clear, it's going to be very difficult to get, excuse me, a good score in task achievement. So you have to make sure that you answer this question really specifically, really directly. Okay, so the other thing I'm noticing here is your word count. Okay, let me just see something really fast. Yeah, this is 211 words. Now, there is no official minimum anymore in the sense that you don't get your, excuse me, your task achievement score marked down if you're under 250 words. However, it's going to be really difficult, if not impossible, to get a good score in under 250 words. Okay? So keep that in mind. Your goal should be at least 250, not because you're going to get marked down for being any less, but you do need to develop your essay fully. And I'm seeing that this paragraph looks really, really short to me. So I want to read the whole thing through, and then maybe we'll come back to this and see what else you could have done. So, doing, excuse me, doing a fun activity establishes a connection between adults and the child. On the one hand, doing an activity is extremely beneficial for the little one to improve sociability, gain good, I don't know what this is, form of body. I don't know, maybe fitness. And also they would scan and control the body. I don't know what it means to scan your body. I'm really confused about that. For children, comma, sharing an opinion is important. For who to listen to them, I'm confused about this, and support their views. So what I'm seeing here is a lot of disjointed language. I'm not seeing linked ideas, so we'll come back to this. Okay, so here you've got a decent topic sentence, okay, where you're saying that doing an activity establishes a connection between adults and the child. Remember, we're talking about skills. So is connection a skill? Okay, let's see. And I didn't like on the one hand, it doesn't fit here because when you have it on the one hand, you also need an on the other hand. You really shouldn't um you shouldn't use one without the other. So let's try to do something else. Doing an activity establishes a connection between adults and the child. Um, when they engage in an activity together, it can be extremely beneficial for the little one to improve sociability. Now, I would stop here. Instead of talking about the body, I would explain how this helps sociability. Okay. So, say something like, for example, when playing a game together, they can explain the rules, they can talk about strategy, they can do different things to connect and exchange ideas. Okay, this is what we mean when we talk about support. So you have this thing where you say that it improves sociability, but then you have to explain it because your reader doesn't know what you mean by this. Okay, so then, after you've explained it, you could say that children also gain, again, I don't know what you mean here by control of their body. So, are you saying that when they play maybe a sport with their parent or maybe a game like an outdoor game, they develop these skills? Here, if this is what you're trying to say, you need to use some other vocabulary words like maybe hand-eye coordination, maybe sportsmanship. Okay. So I'm finding that the language is really kind of basic level here and it's not helping you get your ideas across. All right. And then you need to explain what skill they're developing. Hand-eye coordination when they're playing, for example, basketball with their parent. Okay. And then here, sharing an opinion, listening, etc. It doesn't go with this stuff about the body. It goes with the stuff about sociability. So you have to make sure that your support comes directly after the idea you are expressing. All right, let's move on. Reading is, okay, vocabulary here is wrong. It's not an experiment when you read. It's an experience. So let's try it again. Reading is a priceless experience, especially for a child who is developing. This shift is irrefutably a step in the right direction. It's not a shift. I don't know why you use this vocabulary word. There are largely two reasons for this. Okay, here put a colon, not a comma. Firstly, it can lead to a fall creativity. I don't understand this. Due to reading, comma, they expand their mind, answer distinctly and properly because during not due to, uh, when children read, they expand their mind. I didn't understand this. Answer distinctly and properly to whom? What do they? This is confusing. And I partially feel it's a language problem. It's the wrong vocabulary. And so you're not expressing your idea correctly. Okay, get rid of because. Or you could say this is because while reading, they would know a lot of personalities which affect the child. All right. Really the vocabulary is creating a problem here, and the vocabulary. I think I know what you're trying to say, but there needs to be something happening with your language level. Okay. It's pre-intermediate, and it needs to get to a higher level so that you can express these ideas really clearly. So let's try it. While reading, children get to know a lot of personalities which affect the child. No, let's not say that. During reading, children come into contact with many personalities which may affect the way the child develops. Okay, maybe. All right. And then let's just leave it at that. Now, this is not a sentence. You can see it's underlined here. You can't just say secondly education. It's not a sentence. What you could have done here is you could have combined these. Secondly, reading provides education which directly influences a child to study. For kids who read plenty of, I don't understand this. I don't understand this. Furthermore, create collocation of words for younger reason would be elementary. All right. I'm really trying to understand this, but again, some of the language is it's incoherent and it's really difficult to understand. So what I want you to do in your next essays is really work on the accuracy, because what's happened here is a couple of things. Number one, it's creating a strain. It's very difficult for me to try to understand some of these ideas. And so you want to kind of unravel some of this to make it easier for the examiner. Okay. And then coherence is lost. If I can't understand your ideas, then I can't say that it's coherent and that I've understood what your point of view is. So it needs a lot of work. All right. In conclusion, all types of activity for children are beneficial. In all direct, they should feel convenient and do what they like. All right. Direct is wrong. Convenient is wrong. So vocabulary here is also creating a real issue. Now, I know in your separate email, you've sent us another essay. So let's look at that one and we'll get back to this. All right, Elnura, let's look at the second essay about schools being more entertaining. School is a place where students research, create their society, and become a human. Okay. For students, it should be an area of center of learning. How about this? For students, it should be a center of learning where they can feel themselves. And you don't mean convenient. Maybe you mean confident. I'm not sure. The following essay would be discussed on both views. Okay, grammatically, this is wrong. And they've asked you, which do you agree with? You didn't say anything about entertainment. So I don't know what this essay is about. You need to talk about how there is this debate whether education only or entertainment is the right way for children to learn. You didn't mention anything about entertainment. And so it's unclear what this essay is about. All right. And don't just assume that your examiner is looking at this and knows. No, you have to rephrase it. Okay. So, and then this didn't make any sense to me because you didn't discuss two views on something. Okay. Then the grammar of this is wrong. And you also have to pick a side. Okay. Even if that side says that I agree that, actually it's hard to be in the middle about this. You really can't be. They either need to be more entertaining or they don't. All right. So that's what you have to answer. How about this? The following essay will look at both views and explain why I think schools should be more entertaining. That would be okay. All right. So, On one hand, it's extremely beneficial for young individuals to obtain their education with fun. Individuals can, I don't understand this, enjoy of time and expand their learning capacity. Furthermore, they would be able to study in the lessons by providing better and newer ideas. According to psychologists, pupils, how about this? Show more interest and study harder when the lessons are more entertaining. They advise in order to the lesson would be more pleasure and get feedback. All right, grammar and vocabulary. Advise is the wrong word. And I don't understand what this means. Get feedback. It's very confusing to me. Who are we talking about here? Who is this they? Is it psychologists or is it pupils? I was confused. And then the whole thing didn't make sense, I'm afraid. So, according to psychologists, pupils show more interest and study harder when the lessons are more entertaining. They recommend that lessons should be more pleasurable and provide feedback. I don't know about this. Teachers should be on trends, be closer with students, and create bonds of friendship. If students would merely study, consequently, it could affect their personality. While students study with relish, they can share opinions, things, and be active in their community. All right, you've got a lot of ideas and there's not a ton of support. So this thing about psychologists was fine, but then you had more ideas here that you didn't go into any detail about. You didn't tell us why you think what you think. Okay, and that's really important in IELTS and in any essay writing. If you say what you think about something, you then need to explain why you think what you think. Okay, and that's what we call support. However, on the other hand, the sole purpose of school is to educate rather than study with. The sole purpose of school is to educate rather than study with joy, as it gets fewer results in education. That's strange because I think you just said something else here. No? That they're interested and they study harder? All right, let's see. It is one of the essential elements to be successful in an education. I don't understand this. Don't waste time for entertainment. Grammar again, Elnura. As well as pupils should concentrate in order to pass to university and get a good job. Also, it teaches them to be responsible. Again, you didn't back this up. You didn't give any support. So it's like a bulleted list. It's like, the purpose is to educate. They have to get into university. They have to be responsible and be faster and independent. You're not supporting any of this. You're not telling me why an academic education only would do this. Okay. So it, again, needs a lot of work in terms of number one, grammar, number two, vocabulary, also in terms of support. So you're not developing fully. And so you will not get a higher score in task achievement. This is really important. Okay. In conclusion, young people, grammar, young people should study harder for their future and get more opportunities to broaden their horizons, whereas entertaining learning would result in better personalities with an IES. Okay, so I think we've covered a lot in this first essay set. The first thing that I see that really needs a lot of work is your grammar. Secondly, you need to really work on your vocabulary because there was a lot of inaccuracy. And of course, then there are those other issues that we talked about, primarily task achievement, supporting your answer. Okay, making sure that when you have an idea about something, you tell me why, you tell me how. This is really important. Okay, so go ahead, work on these, and let's see more work from you. I want to see some improvements in the next set. All right, good luck.